Okay, fine. So today we are going to learn about this, okay, in JavaScript, how actually this works and what is this in JavaScript. Okay, so as per the spec, JavaScript spec, it is saying that every function, okay, while executing has a reference to its execution context. Okay, that is known as this, and this is kind of reference only. So every function, I'm saying there is one exception, that this will not work with the arrow function, because there is no this for arrow function, that we will see later in this section. So this is just one definition. You can say this is a reference to the current execution context. Okay, whenever you are creating any function. Okay, so now we are going to see here. Simply right now we are in, normally we know the global scope, local scope, function scope, we know that. So right now we are in global scope. Simply if you will try to print here console dot log, and we'll check where it is referencing. Okay, we'll write this one, this. So you will see here in the console it will print window. Okay, so right now you are in global object, so that's why it is just referencing that object. Okay, immediate object where it is. Okay, so simply if you will write this, then also you will get window. If you will write window, then also you are going to get what? Window object only. And if you will write global this, then also you will get window. Okay, so this is nothing but global object. Right now in global scope, simply if you will write this, that will refer to the window object. Okay, now we will see what if you are inside a function. Let's say here we have a function declaration called demo. Okay, so as I said, whenever you are creating a function, there will be a this for that particular function. So here I'm going to show you that one console.log inside a normal function, which is, where is this function? This is in global scope. Okay, that also you need to remember. So now I'm going to execute this function. And now if you will try to execute this one again, it will show you the window. Okay, so how it is working actually, that we can see here in source tab. Just you need to open that script. Here you have that function. Okay, and we'll see here. I'm going to run this one. So the scope, you can see right now we are in global scope, and global, you can see here the execution context is pushed inside the call stack, because your program is running right now. Now if you want to run this demo, that already we have seen how actually it works. Now if you will run this one, demo is added where it is added, when it is added in the call stack. And now this is the execution context. So this execution context is pointing here right now. See, for the local scope we have this also. Okay, and this is pointing to what? You can see here it is pointing to window. Easily you can track here where it is pointing. So in this case also this is pointing to window. Okay, so it will print the window object here. Okay, so this actually works in different ways, and it depends like where you are using this. So second case also we have seen. Now we will see like in global function scope we have seen how it is working. Now we will see inside global scope, if you are declaring an object, let's say here you have obj is equal to, okay, and semicolon. Now here I'm writing name, okay, colon, Dan. This is one property that we already know how to declare a property here. Another one is here, one method I'm using here, show name, that we can write either way. We can use like this syntax, okay, or instead of writing this, simply we can write the property name here that we have seen already. And now I'm writing here console.log, okay, and here we will try to print this, okay. And right now you see this is not a function, this is a method. Why I'm saying this is a method? Because this function is inside an object. So if a function is available inside an object, that is known as what? Method. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to call this method. Okay, so to call this method, what we have to use, because this is also a property of this object. So simply you need to use here obj, that object name, and then dot to access the property of this object, show name, okay. And you have to execute this one, and then we will see where it is pointing actually, this function. So it will point now. I'm going to remove this one, okay. And now if you will see here in console, it is pointing to this object only, okay, not window. Because type of window also, if you will check here, type of what, window, here we have kind of function it is. And if you are writing here window simply, that is object. So now I'm going to show you here window. So see here, this is an object. And what is the type of obj, that also we will see. Type of obj is also an object. So it will check here first the current object, or you can say simply here we have the show name is a method, and just before this dot, whatever is there, it is pointing to that particular thing only, okay. So show name is inside what, inside this object, means this will point to this object only. So this means if you are using this and it is pointing to the complete object, it means directly you can access this name here. Simply if you'll write name, you will get undefined, okay. Undefined means here you are not able to print that one. So if you want to access this object property, it means either you can write obj, okay, dot name, you are able to access this one. Or instead of this object, because it is pointing, this is pointing what, to this current object, so you can simply write this dot name, then also you will get what, Dan only. So in this case here, this is pointing to the current object, okay. Now in execution context also, I'll show you how actually it is working in the local scope. I'm going to execute here this one line by line, okay. And now I'm going to run this one. So see here, right now we are in global scope and global execution context is already added. Now if you want to call this one show name, okay, show name here if you want to call, so in call stack it will be added now. So now it's been added here, okay, show name. And to its local scope, this is there, this reference is there, and where it is pointing to an object. And which object it is, see here, right now the object which has a property called name as well as a method called show name. Okay, means this object only it is referencing. So simply you can check here to which object it is pointing. So we can say here, when I'm using this is referring to, see, when I'm hovering here, it is showing you what? Name is Dan and show name is a function here. That is a method. Okay. So you can easily check here if you will inspect this one. So always you need to remember, like if you are using this inside global, it will point to the window object. If you are in an independent function like this, this is known as independent function inside global object. Okay, and you are referring to this, it will point to again window object, but there is one condition: if you are not using this in use strict mode, that we will see later. But for now, you simply you can say, whenever you someone is asking, like if you have an independent function and you are trying to access this, where it will refer to, you can simply say it will point to or refer to the window object. Okay, if you are inside an object simply, and that method is a property of that object, immediate property of that object, then this is going to point to that immediate object only. But you have to always remember that you are not using any arrow function, because for arrow function this will be not there. Okay, so now one more thing we are going to see here. I'm going to open that console again. So we have seen, if you are using this inside a method, which is a property of any object, it will point to the current object where it is present. Okay, that you can say. Now, what if here we have console.log this dot name, or simply I'm going to write this. So it is going to print the complete object here in console. See, it is printing. Okay, that is fine. But inside this method, we have again a function. Okay, a function called magic. Okay, and this is not a property. It is inside what? It is inside this show name method. And here I'm going to print console.log. Okay, and here again I'm going to print what? This. So where it will refer to? So just to see that, you need to call this function as well here. So it will, as you can see, it is an independent function. Again, it is going to point to the window object only. Okay, so it will not refer to any immediate object, because this is inside a method and this is independent. This is not a part of this object. This is not the property of this object. So by default, it is going to point to where? To the window object. So this case also we have seen. Okay, so another thing here we have, let's say, for this function also, for this function, inner function also, if you want to access the upper one. Okay, so for that, what we can do? So that we are going to see. We have seen like the function, the independent function, which is available inside a global scope, that is pointing to the window object. Any independent function, wherever it is available, directly it will point to the window object. Now, another case here we have, we have an arrow function. I'm going to copy this one. I'm going to paste it here. As we all know, as I said while explaining this arrow function, if you remember, that we do not have this reference for any arrow function. Okay, so what will happen if you will print this here? Again, it is going to print window only. If you are not using arrow function, if you are not using arrow function, if you're not using arrow function, so it will point to the current object. That you can see there is a difference, because for any arrow function we do not have what, this. So it is pointing to here window. But why it is pointing to window? Because here in this object you can see right now there is no this for this one, this particular uh, arrow function. So it will go one level up here inside this object and will check what is the this reference for this particular object. Okay, if you want to check instead of name, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to just call this, and then we'll see what is inside name. So here now I'm going to show you here what exactly this is. So first we'll try to print the obj object. So in obj object you can see here in name property I was just calling this, and where it is pointing to window, so that's why it is also taking window only and it is printing. So it is going one level up, and in this object it is checking if I will refer to the this where it will point. So here it is pointing to the object, so that's why it is also giving you this one as window only. Okay, now one thing here, let's say if you are not using this arrow function over here, here you have a method, normal method. Okay, so you can see here we have inside name we have window. So here outside this here we have this is pointing to the window, but inside this method this is pointing to what, the object. Okay, because you can see I'm calling this show name. Okay, show name, and before dot which object it is there, you can see here that object name is obj. And why I was getting here for this case, I will show you one more thing, that if you are writing any function, why I was getting this. So here you have demo, and where it is this demo is where, inside an object, and which object it is, in global object called window. So inside window, if you will try to search whether demo is registered or not or declared or not, here you will be able to see here demo, and where it is inside window object. It means you can call this method as like this also, window dot demo, then also it will work. See here, so you can say okay this method is inside this object, so that's why this if you are using in this function, it will point to the window. Before dot whatever object name is there, it will point to that particular object only in this case. Okay, that is the second thing that you can say here. Now another thing here I'm going to show you. Okay, here we have a method, and here it is saying that console.log, this is, it is pointing to current object. That is fine if you are not using arrow function. What if as we have used here independent function, okay, magic, so it was pointing to directly window. One second. Okay, so here we have this one. You can see again we have magic, so this is going to point window. Right now it is pointing window. What if you have a condition over here that in this function also you have to use the same same reference, the current object only, then what you are going to do? So in that case, what you can do is, as we all know that there is no this reference directly for arrow function. So if it is checking here this and there is no this inside this arrow function, so it will go one level up, and whatever this is pointing to, it is going to take the same this. So here also now you will get this same object, it will point to the same object that you can see, and you are able to see how actually it is working. It will go from here to up, one level up, again one level up, it will check, and wherever it will find this value, it will pick up that one. Okay, and it will try to print that value. Is that clear, everyone? Is that clear or not?
Yes, sir. One question. If we assign this to another variable, then it can be accessible.
Yes, that also I'll come to that point.
Okay.
I'll come to that point. Don't worry about that. So that is also the case here. So till now, everything is fine.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So as you were saying, okay, Himanshu, that can we use that or not? Okay. So what if you want to use here window object? Then what you can do? So simply you can write here, one thing is that directly you can write what? Window. Okay. That is a simple thing that we can point. But no, I don't want this. I want one level up. Here we have this one, this. And right now, what I'm using here, a normal function. Okay. A normal function. So right now, if I'm using this here, okay, right now it is pointing to window, but I don't want to point this one to window. I want to access this one. Okay. So what we can do, we have here one hack that you can use. Simply you can write var. Generally in real time, we use self, a variable name, and here we point this. Okay. Now if I'll refer this one, self, I'm able to access the object or not. So you can use this one. Okay. Directly it is not able to get that this, or not access to, not able to access that this or this object. So you can use this one, like you can store one reference here, and later you can call this one here self. Okay. Is that clear?
Yes, sir. Now it's clear.
Yeah. So self dot name, if you will try to access, so you are able to access. One second.
You have to change that name.
Self dot name. I'm doing some mistake here.
Line number 1066. You have to change this.
Here.
1066. It is all. The name is
Okay.
pointed
Sorry. Sorry.
to Windows.
Yeah, I actually didn't see that one. So Dan. So now you will be able to access that name. Yeah. So this is all about this. Okay. We have seen like all these scenarios, how actually it will work with the normal functions and with the arrow function. If you are using nested function, then how it will work, where it will point, you see now. Now we are going to learn about other things in object only, that is related to bindings. Okay, so what exactly is that? Call, bind, and apply we will learn about. So we know the function is also the subtype of an object that I can prove you. Let's say here we have a function called demo. Okay, and here I'm going to write simply console.log, and one more thing about this I'm going to show you here. So as you can see, right now I'm saving this one simply and we'll call this one. Okay, so in this case, the independent function, it will return window. But if you are inside use strict, okay, or in class mode, if you are using this one, use strict, then in that case you will get, one second, in that case you will get, why it is taking use strict as a, oh, format document. Okay, I think because of this prettier, I'm not able to get that one. Let me copy this. So use is,
Said that spelling mistake.
yeah. So here you are getting undefined. So if you are in use strict mode, no, and if you will try to access this, it will return you what? Undefined. That always you need to take care of, like while using this. If you are in use strict mode, okay, means if you are working in JavaScript module, I already said that, like in previous sessions, if you will watch those things, so that in uh, use strict mode will be enabled for the JavaScript ES6 classes and for modules. Okay, and in transpilers. Okay, so always remember this. Yeah, so I was saying that JavaScript functions are the type of object only, subtype of what? Object. Here only I'm going to show you that if I'm calling this right now, you are getting window. Okay. If I'm simply calling demo, I'm getting this function, demo dot. So these many properties are there that we can use with demo, and that is a function. Let's say if I'm using name, so it is returning me the name of the function. Okay. So how we can check what are the properties available with that demo function? So just expand that window, and here we have arguments, color, length, name. Okay, and then we have one special property object, or you can say this is also type of object, that is prototype. And in this prototype we have a constructor, and in this constructor again we have what? Arguments, color, length, name. We have again prototype. Here you can see, so these many properties you can use here. Okay, apply, arguments, bind, call, constructor is there, to a string is there. Okay, symbol, getters, setters are there. Okay, so that we will see. Like we are going to learn about call, apply, and later we will see that bind. So when to use that? So let's say here we have a function called this. Okay. And here we have a function simply that demo. So we can use this one here like n number of time, isn't it? We can print like for reusability purpose, we can use, that's fine. We can call immediately here. What if we have an object where obj1 is equal to, I'm creating on an object literal here, and here we have name. Okay, we have what? Name, Dan. Okay, and here I'm going to write simply show name one property inside this object, and I'm using this one demo, means simply assigning that particular function here. Okay, okay, we'll see this one now. Obj1. Okay, we'll print this one. See here we have a function, no? And what function it is? Show name demo function. Here we have a function demo name, you can see. So simply if you will type obj dot, okay, show name, it will show you the body of this function. Now in two different cases, see, in two different cases here also I'm going to call this obj1 dot show name. Okay, and here I'm calling directly demo, that you can see here. Here it is pointing to this object, and here it is pointing to the window. So the same function is behaving differently in different context. Okay, here in object I'm using same function, I have not changed the body of this function. If I'm writing simply this dot name, okay, and here we have one variable called, or simply we can write no, student name is equal to John, student name, and here we have a student name is Dan. Okay, now I'm going to print this. So here when I'm calling simply this function in global execution context, when I'm calling this demo, I'm getting what? John. But when I'm trying to call this one inside an object, I'm getting Dan. It is working differently, isn't it? So in case of this here, it is working, that is fine. But it is not a best practice that always add that particular method inside the object. This is the first scenario that you can use. It is totally fine, but performance wise, you're not supposed to use this one. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to simply comment that one. I will show you what else we can use here. Okay, so here I'm using now name. Okay, name and a roll number. Let's say our designation I'm using. Okay, designation, comma, same. Whatever parameter is there, I'm going to print that one, designation. So I need to pass this. So here I have to pass what? Developer. Okay, developer. So here it is printing John is a, okay, developer. Fine, that's fine. Here right now it is a developer. Now what I'm going to do is, this is the first case. Second case, here we have one object. Okay, we have one object. So what I'm trying to do is, I'm trying to use this function as a method of what? This object. It is not there, but I want to add right now and want to reuse this one as a method of this object. So what you have to use, we have a special property for this one, that is call. So simply you need to write, you need to understand like this: call which method? Demo. Okay, so I'm writing call demo inside where? obj1. Okay, inside obj1, and then comma, n number of arguments you can pass the arguments. So it is expecting one argument, okay, that you can see is known as designation. Now so I'm passing here designation as mentor. I'm saving it. Dan is a mentor, John is a developer. So by using this call, I'm able to bind this method with this object, but it is literally not present here. You can see I have not written this function inside this object and it is working fine, isn't it? So simply you need to write here call. You need to understand like this: call this function, whatever function name you want to access, where inside that particular object name, comma, and if it is is there any like argument expected, you need to pass arguments, comma separated, n number of arguments you can pass. Okay, and it will accept that argument as a like that method argument. Okay, whatever it is not present, you can see for this object, but by using this demo.call, I'm able to use this outside function. I'm able to bind this outside function in this object. So this is the first thing that you can see, the syntax: function name dot call, and wherever you want to access that. So I want to access that function as a method inside this object, and then list of arguments. Second thing, that is all about call. Now we have apply. We have what? Apply. So apply is also same as it is like call only, but the only difference is here you do not have to pass the comma separated value for these arguments like mentor, comma, let's say age. So here if you are expecting age as well, simply you can write like this: age. So here you have like designation comma age. Okay, so call in call it will work. Okay, Dan is a mentor, and then I'm expecting your age, so it is coming. That is fine. Here in this case, we do not have any age, so that is undefined. That is also fine. So age here we can write where age is equal to 25, let's say, and here I'm passing comma age. So here I'm getting what? John is a developer, 25. Dan is a mentor, 27. Okay. So here we do not have to pass in that case. Where? In case of apply. So it is working in the same way, but you need to remember that this argument should be passed in the form of what? Array. And here it is working as expected. Okay. If you will not send this one in the form of what? Array, it will give you an error. Okay. So just how you can remember these things, you can see here, call is nothing but just to bind, and you need to pass arguments in the comma separator and apply. The first letter A is nothing but you can remember, okay, I need to apply here arguments as in the form of array. A is nothing but array. Okay, call is nothing but you need to pass a normal arguments. Here you need to pass arguments in the form of array. Okay, and immediately it is executing that. That's fine. So you can use call or apply. If you have list of array and you want to pass as an argument, use apply. If you have like different arguments, then you can pass in the comma separated way. Okay, then you can use call. So call apply we have seen, like we are using external method and we are binding with a particular object. That's fine. Now we have the last thing is nothing but bind. That is a bit different. It will work in the same way. So here I'm going to show you this. Okay, here we have, instead of apply, I'm going to use bind. Let's see what it is going to do. If you will pass this, no, you are getting what? A function. Okay, you are getting what? A function. So what you can do here, what actually bind is giving extra thing, that it will return you a copy of a function. You can store it right now, and later as per your need you can execute wherever you want. Okay, so call and apply was executing immediately, but here it is not executing immediately, it is executing actually and returning a function, callback function kind of thing, so that you can use later. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to cut it from here. Simply I will use this bind function. Okay, so whatever it is going to return, that I will execute it later. Bind function, you can see here it is going to return this function. Now if you want to invoke this, then you have to call, and see now it is working fine. Okay, so for these things, if you want to do in real time, like if you have any outside function and just you want to reuse that one, Okay, no need to write again and again inside each and every object. Just make use of these three things: call, apply, and bind. Any question, guys?
Sir, one thing I need. Can you explain bind one more time?
Yeah, sure. So and you want to bind with object, so you have a reference copy. Okay, it's not going to execute immediately. It will return you a function that you can execute later as per your need whenever you want. Okay, then you have to use bind, because whenever you will use bind, always remember it is going to return you a function you have to execute explicitly later. Okay, and call and apply will execute immediately. That is the only difference.
Okay, okay, sir. If we pass in line number 1101 call in like comma 27, it throw error, right?
Where
In line number 1101, that
one,
call
yeah.
inside call.
So what you want me to do there?
It take only one argument or it take more than one argument.
More
If I
than one argument it will take. More
okay,
than one. See, in this line only I have shown you. I removed that apply. First I have shown you with the call. Okay, no problem. Here, if you will pass 27, no, or let's say 29. Okay, so it will accept.
okay,
See,
okay,
n number of arguments you can pass, but always remember the first one is like to bind with that particular object, and then comma separated values will be there for arguments. Is that
okay.
clear?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is all about call, apply, and bind. Now, uh, if you do not have any question, can we move forward now? Yeah. So now we are going to learn about the object property flags. Okay, that we will see. We have learned about like how to bind the external function and all this. Also, we have seen. So property flags and descriptors, we will see how actually it will work in real time. Okay. So now we are going to learn about the property flags and descriptors. So have you heard of this? What exactly the property flags and descriptors are? Anyone? Okay, no problem. So see, whenever you use any property of any object, no, so there are three or more hidden properties will be there associated with that particular property. So by using that, you can give a like a kind of permissions whether you are able to if you want to show them or not, or if you want to restrict that no one should delete this property later. Okay, so for that kind of thing, we do have like writable, enumerable, and configurable. Three Boolean properties will be there. Okay, so how to see that? How to access that one? That we are going to see. Okay, so let's say here I'm going to declare one object, okay, called obj. Fine. And here I'm going to use like one property called name. Okay, I'm writing here Steve. Okay, so as I said here, with each and every property there will be three hidden property also. So right now we are not able to see those three. What are those properties actually? So here I'm going to write obj inside console, just to print that object. Console.log, and I'm going to print that particular object. So here you are able to see this. Anything else is there? Prototype is there, that we will see later what exactly the prototype is. So for now, if you want to see those hidden properties which are there, like as I said, writable, enumerable, and configurable. So we have one special method here that we can use, that is object dot, okay, get own property descriptor. Okay, get on property descriptor, and the first thing you need to pass the object name. Okay, object name, and then second thing you have to pass which property you want to check. That property name you need to pass. So in single quote or double quote, you can pass that property name. I want to check the property name for this name. Okay, inside object, I want to check the configuration of this property. Okay, so it will return you an object. So you need to store that one, where that is nothing but description. Now I'm going to print again this description returned by this. So here you are getting what? You are getting these, as I said, apart from this value, here we have value as a Steve. Apart from this value, we have three different things. One is configurable, enumerable, and writable. By default, if you are creating any object like this, everything is true. Okay. What is meaning of writable? If someone is saying it is writable, this property is writable, then if it is true means value can be changed. Okay. Otherwise it's read only. If I'm saying enumerable is true by default, as I said, if you will create any object like this, it will be true only. Okay. In that case, if you are using any foreign loop or object dot keys, okay, in that case, all these properties will be listed. Otherwise, you won't be able to see the property in the list. If you are using enumerable false, then you won't get all these properties uh, of the object that we will see practically. Then the last one is configurable. If by default here you can see true, so it means anyone can delete the property. But if it is true, sorry, if it is false, no one can delete this. If it is true, the property can be deleted and the attributes can be modified. otherwise not. Okay, that we are going to see. So these three property flags are there that you can change. So just to check the property descriptions, you can use object dot get on property descriptor. You need to pass the object name, then the property name. We have one more method called property descriptors. Okay, property descriptors means you will get, in case if you have multiple properties, you will get all those property descriptions. Here, if you have age, let's say 27, another property it is. So you will get the property description for age as well as name. So if you'll expand here, it is true, true, 27, true. For name here, you can see value is Steve. Writable, yes, it is writable. Enumerable, yes, it is enumerable. Configurable, yes, it is configurable. So you can see, you can use these methods. So right now, I'm going to use what? This one, property descriptor only for one property. But we have the possibility that we can do for the entire object. Then you have to use get on property descriptors. No need to pass the property name. Simply you need to pass the object name itself. That's it. Okay, that's fine. So what is the meaning of writable if it is true? As you can see here, writable true means if you want to overwrite, if you want to overwrite, okay. Let's say I'm saying obj dot name is equal to Smith, and I'm checking the updated object. So initially it was Steve. You can see here writable was true, and after updating this value, I'm able to update or not. Yes, I'm able to update. That's why I'm getting name as a Smith. Okay, that's fine. That's the meaning of writable, that you can update the property value. Okay, now second thing, that is configurable. So if I'm writing for, okay, for, I'm simply writing that var key in obj, and then simply I'm going to print all those keys. So see here, I'm going to print the key. I'm getting this one name. It means it will be listed in any loop. If you have what? If you have for in loop or console dot log, inside this I'm going to use object method that we have already seen, object dot keys. Okay, of which object? Obj. So here you have name in the form of array. It's working. That's fine. Third thing here we have, that is configurable. Okay, configurable means here you are able to do any modification for that property. Let's say if you want to uh, delete that object property. So what you can do, simply write delete and that property name. Okay, obj dot name. Okay, now we'll see. Here we have, after deleting this one, empty object means I'm able to delete this one. So we have seen these things. That's fine. Means we are able to overwrite. We are able to see that these property names are listing in this. Now I'm going to add here age as well. Okay, age 27. Okay, so here I'm getting age and that one is deleted. Name is deleted. Here I'm getting name and age both. Here I'm getting name and age both for in loop. Okay, I'm getting a Smith and age. I'm able to overwrite. Everything is working fine. So to see the configuration, we have this property. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Now, what if you have a property and if you want to change the configuration? Okay, if you want to change the property flags of that particular property, then what you have to do? Then we have one method called object dot define property. Okay, object dot define property. Fine. So here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply write one thing. Obj or simply object dot define property. Okay, define property. This is the one method. Now what we are going to do here, inside this object dot define property, first what we have to do, we have to mention the object name. So object name is obj. That's fine. Then for which property you want to change, that property name you have to mention. Here I'm going to change for the name, then comma, and in the form of object, because if you have seen here we are getting object. So here what you have to do, you have to write, let's say if you want to change the writable configuration, simply writable, by default it is true, I'm going to make it as false. Okay, save it. So once if I'm saving here, no, understand this one, writable was initially true, but now if you will see here, configurable is true, enumerable is true, writable is false, means no one can override this. Okay, then I'm checking description. Okay, then what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to overwrite obj.name Smith. Am I able to do so? No, I'm getting a still a Steve only. I'm not able to update this because we have changed the flag writable as false. If we will make this one by default as it was true, then later we are able to see that as a Smith. Okay, you understood that? What is the meaning of that? Writable and here true and false. We are not able to override. That's fine. Here just we are playing with the one property. That's fine. That's fine. Now in list we are getting, now we will learn about enumerable. So it is true right now. So that's why we are able to see these things in list. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove this one. I'm just going to use enumerable. By default it is true right now. I'm going to make this one as false. Let's see. So if name is false, here I'm going to expand this. See, enumerable is false. So in loop, you can see in for loop, I'm not getting that in this list. I'm not getting that in this list as well, isn't it? So it means if you will use this enumerable false, it will not list that particular property will not list in loop. That you need to remember. Third thing is configurable. What? As false if you are going to make this one. See, false is not defined, or flash. False. See, name age Smith and age. Name still I'm getting, even though you are trying to delete this, no? Delete obj name. It is not able to delete your name. Still I'm able to see name. So it means you can change the flags here. Okay. By using these three properties, and these three properties are hidden. If you want to see that, you have to use get on properties descriptor, object dot get on property descriptor. If you want to change them, you have to use object dot define property. Okay. And one more thing, if you are using configurable false, you know, then you see here that we will see later. Don't worry about that. Actually, it will break the prototype. Okay. You won't be able to access the prototype directly here. Okay. So you can use these three flags. Now, I hope you understood like what is the use of these three flags. Is there any question,
No, sir.
guys?
So, can you repeat what change it make when we do configure is equal to false? Means I'm unable to understand that.
Okay. If you are using configurable false, no, see, if it is true, if it is true, initially, how many properties are there? Tell me. Name and age, two properties are there. Fine.
Yes.
And when you are trying to delete name, no, and then printing at the end, you are getting just age because you are able to delete this property. Okay.
Yes.
But if you will make this one as false, no, even though if you will try to delete here by using delete obj name, you're not able to delete that property, isn't it? So for that
Yeah.
purpose, you can use configurable as false.
Means it stopped the its modification, right?
Yes, yes. So if you will use all those things as false, like writable as false, okay, and configurable as false, no one will be able to either modify, okay, your existing property value or delete that property from that particular object. Okay. Now if I'll try to see here, no, obj dot name, I'm able to access, but I won't be able to reassign the new value. Hello. Okay. Is it still a Steve? Okay. Now, if someone is trying to delete this, no, you will get false because the configurable property is false here. And again, if you will check here the object, you have that property still there. Okay, that is the basic thing. Is that clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Any question? Anyone? No? Okay, fine. So apart from this, we have another thing here. So individually, we are treating all those properties and all. Like if you want to change the individual property, or if you have to target the multiple properties, means you have to go one by one. Property descriptor, here we are using for the individual property descriptors. Directly you can target the all the property, but you have to write like individually for all those properties. What if you want to target the entire object? So for that one, here we have, here itself I'll show you. We have two special methods in object. Let's say here I'm going to declare again obj is equal to, okay, name, and here I'm giving again Smith. Okay, I'm saving it. Fine. Now, what if I want to seal this object? Okay, I want to seal this object, means we have one uh, method called object dot seal. Okay, so what actually it is going to do here, if I'll use object dot seal, no, you won't be able to add a new property in it. Okay, you won't be able to add new property, and you won't be able to delete the existing property. Okay, what actually it is doing, you won't be able to add any property, you won't be able to delete any property. And what it is doing, actually internally it is making all the properties as non-configurable. Okay, you can not update actually any existing thing. Means I'm talking about the property, you cannot add or delete, but you can change the value. So that I'm going to show you here. Right now I'm going to do one thing, console.log obj. Here we have that exact object. So here I'm going to add obj dot age is equal to 27. Here you have this object, means you are able to add new property. Now delete now what I'm saying here, that delete obj.age. So initially you see in the first case when I have added here obj age and then printing, means it is able to add. Now if you are using delete obj age, you are able to delete. That's fine. If you're trying to do what, obj name is equal to Steve, that also you are able to do, means you are able to write, overwrite. Okay, you are able to add the new property, you are able to delete. You are able to do each and everything right now. But what if after this, if I'm going to write here object dot seal, seal the object, which object, pass that object name obj. Fine, and now I will try to do so here. First thing, what I'm trying to do here, line number 1163, see here, I'm trying to print here this one, and what I'm trying to add here, obj.age. Are you able to see that age here? After sealing this object, we are not able to add new property. First thing. After sealing the object, I'm trying to delete that one. Because I'm not able to add, so I won't be able to delete that, no? So I'm going to delete name, which is already there. So see here, still see, I'm not able to delete this name property here. Means we are not able to add new property, we are not able to delete existing properties. But if you will try to update the existing property value, okay, here right now we have a Steve, no? In existing property here we have, okay, whatever it is, I'm going to change it to Dan. So it is writable. You can see here. So you are not able to add or delete, but you are able to overwrite. If you are using what? Object dot seal. Okay. Now we have one method here that you can check, that is kind of like Boolean check whether this method is sealed or not. So simply what you can do, object dot is sealed, it will return true or false. Okay, so for that you have to do console.log. Console.log. See whether this object is sealed or not. Yes, it is sealed because I have used here this one. Okay, object.seal. So you can use this method just to check whether this object is sealed or not. See here, it is sealed, and after sealing this, we are not able to do either, like I'm not able to add anything, I'm not able to delete anything, but I'm able to overwrite. That's fine. So likewise, we have another method that is object dot freeze. Okay, object dot freeze. So what actually it is going to do, that we will see now. And here we have one Boolean property just to check whether object is frozen or not. So we'll save it and we'll see here. Yeah, it is frozen now. That's why it is returning me true. Now what I'm trying to do here, I'll copy this one. I'll try to add new property in it. Are you able to add a new property? No, it is still same as name Steve. Name Steve. You're not able to add age. Okay, that's fine. It is same like seal only. That's fine. Now we have one property called name inside this obj, isn't it? So we'll try this one now. We'll try to delete that and we'll print. So it should print empty object, but here it is printing again the same object. Means we are not able to delete again. Same as seal only. That's fine. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to update the value. Okay. So here this one was working in the case of seal, but here it is not working. So frozen means if you will freeze any object, you won't be able to do any operation. Means it will be non-configurable, non-writable. Okay. Now we'll see one more thing for why to write here. I'll do one thing. Here I'm getting this one in list. I'm getting this one in list means it is, you can see enumerable. Enumerable is true, but writable and configurable is false. That's why I have shown you here. If you are using object.seal or object.freeze, these two things will be fine. Like it will be enumerable. In this case, object dot freeze, but in this case it will be like writable is also true and enumerable is also true. But if you will use what that configurable will be false, so you won't be able to delete that and you won't be able to even add anything in it. Okay, so this is the basic difference in object.seal and object.freeze. You have any question, guys? Anyone? No question.
No, sir.
Okay, so now we are done with the object. Okay, completely we have learned all the properties and functions of object. We left with like template literal is different thing. That is a different topic that I will try to cover right now only. So tomorrow we are going to start about the prototypes, and after prototype we'll learn about that. Let me check what exactly is that. So we are done with each and everything till here. Till here, template literal means I'll cover this one right now. Then tomorrow we are going to start about prototypes, then object oriented principles. Okay, these two things we will see. And in this prototype only we will see like how prototype chain works and prototypal inheritance also. Okay, in class also I will show you like first in prototype I will show you what is constructor call, how new keyword actually works. Okay, and in object oriented principle I will show you how to use class, how to inherit any property, and it is a bit different actually. It is not similar like Java or C++, like class is a blueprint. That is not the case here. So it's totally different. Then we are going to learn about rest and spread destructuring. Tomorrow we'll first try to cover these two things. Okay. If we'll have enough time, then we can cover this one. Okay. So we are almost done with this JavaScript foundation thing. So just we left with the prototypes and object oriented principles. So these are the latest features only. And then we'll start the regular expression, iterators, generators, symbols, event queue things. Okay.
So how much time it will take to cover all the JavaScript topics?
Now, now it will take 10 to 12 days max.
Then for jQuery also, right?
Yeah, total. I'm saying 10 to 12 days. In jQuery, we do not have as per the syllabus. I was about to teach just JavaScript, but they have asked me to explain about jQuery also. So in jQuery, I'm going to explain how Ajax works, means asynchronous call. But now real time, we are not using that Ajax also. jQuery Ajax, I'm saying we are using Axios. Okay, we have a different external library that we can use. So, but
Then
I'll show you how exactly it works
we,
and the DOM
so that will
manipulation.
be a DOM manipulation. Yeah.
Yeah, DOM manipulation.
Okay.
What about that getter and setter? It include in that object part?
In iterators, I'll show you and generators. Okay,
Okay.
okay. I'm not covering in object exactly that proper. After prototypes and object-oriented principles, you will be able to understand that what exactly getters and setters are. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So these things are the like main foundation. In interview also they ask these things, whatever we have covered yet. Okay. Now, so we are going to learn about the template literals. Someone call this one as tag template also, or backtick. Okay. So now we are going to learn about so template literal is nothing but, let's say here you have where, okay, and some data is there, or we can say simply name is equal to Dan, okay, comma, designation is equal to dev. Okay, so if you have to print this console.log, these two things, that um plus you need to concat that name Dan, okay, then plus, just to keep one space in between, and my role is designation. Here you have to write. So let's say you have to concatenate like this, the like if you have any variable name, then in between you have a string, so this is very difficult to add like this. Okay, what if you have to instead of this, you have to write the same thing by using this backtick, this third way, like either we can use double quote or single quote here. And now no need to use these things. Simply what I'm going to do is I'll use this backtick, means just above your tab key on the left side, you will get this sign, tilde sign. Simply here you need to write whatever you want. You can write here I'm, okay, and then name. So here you have to write, I'll tell you, like here this is the name, means here you have to write that placeholder I am, and my role is, then designation. Okay, so right now if you will try to print, it will print as it is. Okay, I am name and my role is designation. So here you have this name as a variable, so you need to use $1 and then curly brace, and again here curly brace. Okay, so it means it will understand that this is one expression and I have to evaluate this. So you can see right now I am Dan, it is coming, and my role is designation. So here as well you need to place this dollar sign on this one. That is fine. If you want to just keep this one inside double quote, No need to use any escape sequence. But what if you have to keep this one here in double quote? You have to use what? Escape sequence. So here directly you can write in tag template. No need to use anything. Whatever you want to do, any like a string format you can use. Okay. So just you have to use this backtick, and whatever expression or a string you want to write inside that, you can write. Okay. So let's say here you have like this role is, as you will write here, it will print as it is on the console. But that is not the facility here directly, that you can write this string. You need to use again what? Escape sequence. Okay, so that is very painful directly by using this plus concatenation. So instead of that, you can use this template literal. And in real time, we use this one just if you want to like uh, loop some like DOM node or something, then we use this like a mix of what we say the expression and a string. If you have and you want to loop through them, like then you can use this tag template. So it will work in that way. Okay. So then we can use the template literal. If you have any question, you can ask.